everyone, and welcome to the QA Tech Pro podcast. My name is Mutulani. I'm your host for today. As you know, this podcast is tailored towards all things tech, but sometimes majorly QA. So with me here, I have someone who has been in the QA industry for over 6 years. She has tested and launched tons of products, and she's here to really show us her expertise and explain what QA really means to everybody. So everybody, welcome with me, Jane Abassa. Hi, Jane.
Hi, I'm fine.
So lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, great. So today we are going directly into what QA really is, because I know quite a number of people like me have an idea but don't understand what it really means to be a QA tester. So can you shed a bit of light on why QA is so confusing? Why do you think it comes off as confusing to people? Because when you hear the name QA tester, it already kind of summarizes that, okay, you're testing something, quality assurance tester, you're testing if something is up to par, if it's doing what it's meant to do, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But then we realize along the line, I realized that QA testing is more than that. So can you expatiate on why it's so confusing and what QA really is?
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. First thing first, I think the confusion mainly about QA is the fact that you guys just streamlined it to testing, yeah?
Okay.
You know, like you said, you just mentioned testing.
Yes,
So one quick thing is QA is not always about testing. So like the name quality assurance, QA spans around quality from start to finish.
Okay.
You're talking about from inception, from conception till delivery, and even after delivery. So we're ensuring that all of your requirements and all that should work in that application, that really functions as it should. Right? And of course, the end users, people that will use this application, can use it without any form of itch. Right. So that's one key thing about QA.
So basically it's beyond testing.
Yes.
Okay.
It's everything
Yes,
quality.
it's beyond testing, guys. It's not limited to just testing.
Yes.
So when do you think is the best time for a QA tester to come in? Because if we're going to go with just the name, like I said, you would think that the product has to already exist, then someone has to test. Okay, so because QA tester in tech is different from quality assurance in any other kind of profession.
Yes.
If you're a QA QC for like a food industry, the product already has to exist before you can actually test to see that, okay, it matches the quality, right?
Yes, yes.
But why is it different in QA? Can you explain, when does a tester, when is it meant to come into the whole process?
Okay, so for QA starts from inception. So like I talked about inception, you have the idea of the product that you want to build, and you go into requirement gathering. That's exactly where QA comes in. So QA listens, so knows all of those requirements. And with that, it has a key understanding of what you're trying to build, then how to test and ensure that that product works like it should. So I will just use, for example, something that we currently do in my place of work.
Okay.
So for every product or feature that we're trying to build, we have like many interviews where we bring a different persona. So we're looking at, so who's going to be using an application, like an e-commerce application?
Okay,
So we pick people from the market.
Younger
Right?
people?
You sell this. Come
Okay.
in here. Okay. So if I intend to build a product that helps your business. What do you need in this product? We ask the questions, and they tell us that, so I want the application to be easy. Very easy for me to use. I don't want it complicated. I don't want any form of wallet. I won't like to pay my money directly, right? But of course, you can place an order from this product, and you can get your stuff delivered to you in no time. Seamless delivery, right?
Okay.
From request to delivery. So we ask all of those questions, and that equally impacts on how we try to build the product, how we imagine
So that
the product
means
will
the
work.
QA tester has to come in from the beginning.
Yes,
Right
from inception.
from the moment you've decided that, okay, I want to build this product, I already have the idea. As you're getting software developers and project managers, a QA also has to be there from the very beginning.
Yes.
Okay. That's nice. That's good to know. So it means everybody works together. What are the skills that you'd say are very, very important for a QA tester to have beyond the regular tech skills? Because obviously there's a tech foundation that is necessary for a QA tester to have.
Yes,
But what
exactly.
skills would you say is required besides the tech skills?
One key skills a QA should have would be attention to details.
Attention to details.
Yeah, because it's all about quality. So you're paying attention to everything quality, everything about the application. You're paying attention to the design, you're paying attention to the color of the application you're trying to build,
Mm-hmm.
you're paying attention to each of your screen sizes.
Where the buttons are.
Yeah, where the buttons are located, so
Yeah.
you don't want to have your buttons so hidden that your users can't find it if you're trying to navigate your application. So key attention to details would be one key skills that every QA should have. And also communication skills. I will also pick communication skills are my next best skills that a QA should have. You should be able to communicate, and you're communicating with what will I say? Communicating. You can even communicate mostly effectively, but you're also communicating as little as you can. I would say as lay as you can.
Okay,
The layman.
and yes, in layman terms, easy to understand.
Yes, very clear to understand. So everybody picking it up, like your test cases that you're writing, they can understand what you're trying to
Don't
achieve.
overcomplicate things.
Yeah, so that you understand what you're trying to achieve with everything you've written,
Okay.
right? Yes, yeah.
You said attention to details, you said communication skills, and those are like very, very important skills for a QA test as well.
Yeah.
However, what you said sounds quite similar to a user experience designer, because I know that a user experience also works from the back end perspective of the user. You
Yeah.
kind of test how the product comes off. So, what's the difference between a QA tester and a user experience?
Okay, so user experience, user experience will come to the UI.
Yes,
right? So
UI,
user
yes.
experience is about the flow of the application. So you're going to pick, for example, let me go with an e-commerce application now,
Okay.
right? You're saying that you as an end user can place an order for an Indomie, a carton of Indomie from an application. So a UI UX person is ensuring that, by the time you open your app, you see the list of products that are available. So it's easy for you to search.
Okay.
They're ensuring that you have a search functionality. So
Okay.
you don't want to go through scrolling through the entire
Looking for
product
tons of
list.
products.
Yeah, and you can
Very,
just
very
search for Indomie. And of course, you're seeing the specification of the Indomie that you want. Do you want like this kind of Indomitable onion? So that's what like a UI UX person tries to do. The entire flow to get to the end result is
Okay.
easy
Okay.
for the users to understand.
Okay, but the tester then does what?
Okay, so the tester now ensures that the entire flow that the UI UX and the devs and everything have written, it works as it should.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm ensuring that I'm clicking on the search
And it's bringing
field
up
and I'm
what
entering
you
Indomie. I want
Okay.
Indomie onion, and I'm doing like 100 kg, for example,
Okay.
like 100 grams. That's what I
Okay.
want. I want a carton of that. And it's specifically featuring through all of the list of products that you have, and it's fetching that exact product for me.
So I also know that user experience actually tests the product on different devices, so they see that it
Yes.
works effectively beyond if I'm using my browser for something and I also decide to use my desktop, it works effectively as it should. That's
Yes.
the tester's role, right? Not a user experience.
Oh, that's both a user experience and testers.
Okay.
So because user experience, like I said, they do the design and all.
Oh.
So while doing that, they're ensuring that it's adaptable to each screen size.
Okay.
So you're looking at it from your iPad, you're looking at it from your TV, you're looking at it from your laptop, a smaller screen, or maybe an iTech phone that the screen is too small. We're ensuring that you can still see what it should still work as it should. So let's say, for example, your iTech phone is really, really small, your screen is small. That is where the user experience flow comes in, where you can now scroll.
Oh.
So for a larger screen, you just see all the products listed.
At once.
Yes. But for that, we just want to
Okay.
ensure that you can still scroll if you have a very small screen. So yes.
Oh, that's so nice. You guys do a lot. So would you say that QA, would you say it's an easy entry? Because maybe it's just me, but everything you've mentioned, I mean, I know that for user experience, you have to have design skills, you have to be able to design. For a back-end developer, a front-end, you have to be able to code one way or the other.
Yeah.
So to me, QA sounds easy. Do you think QA is an easy entry into tech?
I would say yes, QA it can be an easy entry into tech, but I would not say the road or the path to it for you to get the quality that you need is easy. Yeah, so it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of diligence, determination, and growth along that path. But yes, QA can be an easy starter for anyone to come into tech. Yeah.
Okay, that's so
It was, for example, it was easy for me. It was the easiest path for me at the time I started. Yeah.
And you've been in for over 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, there must be something there for you to still keep doing it, and that's lovely. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what frustrates you most when you hear? Because when people talk about QA online, so when I started this tech thing, I will not lie to you. I got into tech about pre-COVID, like say 2019, 2020, and then
Okay.
there's a different thing between choosing to go into like the tech career, and then there's like so many things. Tech is so broad.
Yeah.
That's when there's front end, there's back end, there's UI, there's UX, there's technical writing, there's so many things.
Yeah, there's product
manager, product design.
project. I mean,
It's so broad. And there were so many myths about tech. They tell you, if you want to make money ritual, and that tech. And so they forget to talk about like the process involved. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All of you are looking for quick money. Let's enter tech fast. Tech is not Yahoo, my brother. It's a lot of stress. And so it took a lot for me to actually decide that, okay, this is my niche. But if I was going to go by what people have said online, I was so pissed off when I eventually got into it, and I'm realizing that there's so much more to it than this. So what frustrates you the most when you hear people talk about QA online? Because I know that there's so many things about QA that people are saying.
Okay. So one thing I would like to say, just to buy into what you have said, right? Like, tech is Yahoo, but yeah, tech can be blood money. But the sweetest part of it is, or the harmful part is, you cannot use anybody's blood. It is your blood that goes for it.
Nice.
That is the thing.
It's your blood.
You cannot use anybody's blood to do this money. You have to use yours,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So you're equally sacrificing your blood and you're getting the money. So I don't know who suffers most. Yourself, you're just suffering in all angle. So what frustrates me the most when I hear people talk about QA online is the fact that they don't know how much it takes for you to really achieve quality. Right. So for QA, the quality part, it takes a whole lot for you to achieve that type
I
of
think
quality.
people always forget that the Q in QA stands for quality.
Yeah, they just think it stands for testing. You're not just testing like a robot. You're not just clicking on buttons. You're ensuring the entire process, quality. So that's from your requirement, when the requirement gathering, you're in the phase of requirement gathering, you're understanding that requirement, you're asking necessary questions. In fact, you're even fighting and arguing for flows that should be removed or flows that you think that your customers will not need. So those are the type of things
So
that
they just
come
make
in.
it sound easier than it actually
Sweetheart, it is not. I don't want to scare anybody. It can't be easy,
Of
but
course.
you have to give
Put in
it.
the
You have to give it.
effort.
Yes,
And
a
if
lot
you
of
want to
effort.
be the top of the top in something, you have to go the extra mile for it.
A lot of it is going to take your
You have to
time.
go
It's going to
the extra
take your energy. It's going to take a lot from you.
So, you said a QA must have like attention to detail, and I realized that that's very important because you cannot afford to miss
Anything. That is it. I mean, anything. Okay, I'll take for example now. That's last week we pushed like a feature for our internal admin application.
Okay.
Right, easy for our admins to
Use.
just go there to use. You have your settlement compliance. Everybody wants to ensure that we're trying to make their work better for them. Right. Now, when we're done with building the entire feature, we scoped it, we understood the flow, we even had them on calls explaining what their challenges are and how we try to solve them, whatever we're building. We have done that. So instead of them going through like SQL running, we just made it easy. Now we're done, and they are coming back to us to say, oh, you guys gave us a gun, but you didn't give us the bullets for it. So they're taking
I
a lot of
understand.
time. And sweetheart, you were in that meeting.
Like,
You specified what you wanted. So I mean, those are the kind of things that come with it. So we have to go back again to keep understanding. Oh, we're doing a lot of things that we have done. Right? All of your pain at the time you put into it, you have to redo it to ensure that it fits into their needs. And that's part of the downside.
I used an app I think about 2 weeks ago, and I was so angry because it got to a particular place I could not submit until my phone was in a landscape mode.
Oh,
Do you understand? I had to rotate, and because I was looking for the button, okay,
Where is
submit.
it?
Where is
Yeah.
it? So I had to, and I was like, this is such a terrible. Both the UX and the QA did such a terrible job.
so you see some of the emotional damage that you guys did to us.
I was like, they did such a terrible job. So I couldn't them that they did not test to see this button. I was going to look like unfold. and the other hand, my spirit was like, so you can actually, so do you think it's easy to come out? I swear I understand exactly where you're coming from. I really get it.
Yeah, but I think another thing that maybe for your experience that you had, maybe something that you would have done is to just tell users that this application or this page, I can say maybe the future does not work with your normal phone
or a browser.
device. Yes, you have to go through maybe using like an iPad where you can see everything, in a huge landscape form. Or you can just put like a prompt that says, please, we want you to switch your phone to a landscape format so you can see this page and button clearly.
Because that information wasn't put there.
Yeah, so that would have just helped.
Okay. So for a beginner that wants to go into QA, what mindset shift do you think they should have? What particular mindset would you say, okay, as a beginner, this is the mindset you have going into QA industry? What mindset?
So key mindsets would be one, I would say attention to details. I know regularly most of us who don't pay a lot of attention to to a lot of things, right? So one key mindset is attention to details, asking a lot of questions. You want to know, you're reading up a lot of things. Sometimes, or most times, I usually encourage QAs to do surveys by themselves. So if you guys are trying to build something, you're going into the market. I feel like there will always be a replica of that. Not really a replica, but someone that tried to solve that same problem the same way. So you could even adapt from that. You could read up on it, use it, and then you see how you're ensuring that, oh, yours is not as flawed or yours is better.
Okay, so
than whatever
that
thing you
means
have out there.
I'd say a beginner should be very curious. You cannot sit in
curiosity.
you can't sit in what you already know. You have to be curious. You have to pay attention to detail. You cannot do it anyhow. Don't bring anyhowness into it. You need to see that you understand exactly what you should understand. Ask questions, please.
Yes, lots of it.
Lots of questions. That's part of the communication you spoke about, right?
Yes.
You need to know from the end and from people that are developing how is this going to work, how does it benefit this person. Thank you so much for coming on, Jane.
Thank you.
This episode has been so amazing. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure that a lot of people also learned a lot as well. So, thank you for joining the QA Tech podcast, and I will see you soon.
All right, thank you guys for having me. Bye.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining today's episode. I'm sure you learned a lot. If you don't already know, there are so many things you can do in the QA industry. So please stay tuned for our next episode. Follow us on all our social media pages at the QA Tech Podcast, and I'll see you on our next episode. Ta-ta!
Bye.